What's up, YouTube? It's the Console Samurai with Grown-Ups Gaming, and we all know that Fallout 4 was a hugely successful game last year. One of the biggest games of the year. Whether it was on PS4, Xbox One, or PC, it was a huge game. And when you bought it, they probably asked you two questions. One, do you want the strategy guide? Which, depending on who you ask, they will tell you it's a requirement. If you are a collector or a completionist, you may need the strategy guide because there's just so much stuff in games nowadays that it really is damn near impossible to find everything on your own, unless you're okay with wandering for hundreds of hours trying to locate everything. But the other question I asked you was probably, do you want the season pass? Now, we all know what the season pass is, but for those of you who don't know what it is, you pay a flat fee for the season pass, and it gives you access to all current and future DLC, and maybe a little something extra just to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit, entice you to buy it. Very similar to day one pre-order DLC. In this case, in the case of Fallout 4, it is $30 for access to all future DLC and all future content, so on and so forth. But the problem with Fallout 4 is that there was no DLC. There was no DLC on the schedule. There was no DLC announced. It was all just assumed that there's going to be DLC because there's a season pass, and, well, that makes sense. Why would I be pre-buying all the DLC if there's not going to be any DLC? But we still didn't hear anything about it. And I'm not saying Bethesda is one of the companies that would just cash out on the season pass, never come out with DLC, and just disappear into the night with it. Really not saying that because I don't want Bethesda to sue me. But we all know that there are companies that would not give you your money's worth for the season pass. I'm not saying Bethesda is one of them, but we all know that there are a few out there. But earlier this week, we actually heard about the first bit of DLC. I believe it was day before yesterday, Tuesday of this week. Bethesda came out and announced that there's going to be 3 pieces of DLC. The first one's going to be a robotic companion. The second one, I can't remember. It's something to do with settlements, but I don't remember what it was. For $10, and the big one for $25 is going to be a new chunk of content. It's actually more an expansion than DLC. DLC kind of implies it's a little smaller. Now, for $25, I would hope it's going to be a lot of game content, but I don't know exactly how much there is to it. It's something about going to a mysterious island off the coast of Maine, but I don't really know anything about whether it's going to be worth $25 or not. Now, if you've been following along with the math, you know that's $40 worth of DLC, and the season pass, $30, gives you access to all this. So you can see why people definitely buy the season pass. If you're the kind of person who's going to buy all of the DLC, all the DLC on any given game, and there's a season pass, it generally does come out better to buy the season pass. But Bethesda is doing something we've never seen before. As of March 1st, the season pass price is going to go up. We've never seen that, I don't think. Instead of it being $30, it's now going to be $50, which means the season pass is now going to be $10 more than the current DLC that's out. Which, presumably, there's going to be more DLC. So if you're going to stick with the game, and they're going to come out with more DLC, then, in theory, it should actually be worth it. Now, of course, this isn't going to affect people who've already bought the season pass, or people who buy the season pass between now and March 1st. But as of March 1st, the price will go up to $50. And this is very strange to actually see this. I mean, we see the opposite quite often, where as a game gets older, as the game has sold enough, either the DLC or the season pass gets cheaper, or they do away with the season pass altogether and re-release the game as a new version of the game with all the DLC added into it. Skyrim did it, God of War did it, Injustice did it, various names, Game of Year Edition, so on and so forth, Ultimate, whatever. This is something we're used to seeing. We're not used to seeing the other side of this, where as time goes on, the season pass increases, which you can take that as they're either going to continue to do this, or they have so much more planned that they've realized, well, $50 is actually really fair price going forward. But again, it's not something we've ever seen, and hopefully it's not a new precedent where each season pass is going to go up in every game as more DLC comes out to kind of benefit the early adopters a little bit more. But only time will tell on that. What do you think? What do you think about season pass prices going up for the first time? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Once again, I am the Console Samurai, and I'll see you around.